Is retail trading gambling? So how important is it to choose a session based upon your lifestyle?
So that's just very toxic traits when you come into trading. If you're looking for a trade, you need...
All right, guys, we have arrived at Raja Bank's house here in Dubai, and we're gonna be going over his multi-million-dollar trading plan. So let's go in. Mr. Raja Bank.
Hey, Hunter.
It's MVP Cribs. We're gonna
Nice to meet you.
Nice
No
to meet
problem,
you
no
too.
problem. I had the mic already on.
Oh wow, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's
Come on
walk in.
inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
So this is Raja Bank's villa. I like it. Yo, this is the one you posted on your story the other day. This is like a king's palace.
So this is going to be passed down to generations, to my kids, my grandkids.
It's like when I go to the hotels in Dubai, I see all the sheikhs on the wall.
Yeah, some of the
like
shape
that.
of this house.
Yeah, the sheikh of this
Yeah,
house.
so
I
they
like
know who's the boss.
it. And the first question I want to ask you is retail trading gambling?
It depends on what's your mindset when you come into trading. What we've seen is that clients who have solid careers or those who have like a good cushion to fall back on, they trade with more discipline. They take very calculated risks on saying like, if I'm gonna execute once a day or twice a day, that's fine. But when you have someone who has like a $500 account and $1,000 account and they want to flip that up to like 2,000, 3,000 in 2-3 days, that's when that gambling mentality comes in.
Many people have different lifestyles. So how important is it to choose a session based upon your lifestyle and when you can trade?
Like back in the day when I started trading, I was trading while at the gym, I was trading while at the grocery store, I was in a position during trying to get my hair cut. So that's just very toxic traits when you come into trading. What helped me most is to knowing what time of the day I have free for myself. Let's say, for example, when I was in Canada between 5 and 8 a.m., I had time free for myself. I had pre-New York and New York open to trade. Here in Dubai, I have afternoon time free for myself. Like from this time now, it's like almost like, 11:20 a.m. till like, 2 p.m. Dubai time, which is pre-London and London open. So I can only trade at this time. If I'm gonna start to look at the trade, let's say in the evening time in Dubai, I have kids to play with, then I got my wife over here, so a lot of things happening in the evening time. I won't be more profitable in the evening time, even though that's going to be New York session, even though I've been looking at the New York session for the past 8 years, 9 years, but my undivided concentration is not going to be there. And I think that's where people lose a lot of money because one day they're going to trade a London session, then they're going to trade a New York session, then they'll see this move happen in the Asian session, and they're just going to be confused, because all sessions, they move the same way.
And how important is it to choose a time when there's volume and when there's no volume?
Like let's say after London closed, you have no volume, right? The volume's dead unless you have FOMC at that time around 2 p.m. whatever, New York time. You should only be looking at the charts when there's volume in the market because that's going to be the point where you're going to be able to make some money, where you're going to be able to execute on a trade and it may go in your favor and you're going to know what the result is. When there's low volume, you're looking at the chart, there's not much movement happening, and now you're sitting and asking yourself, man, this is the only time I have left to trade. And a lot of guys are in that same position. You are forced to look at the higher time frame, forced to look at the 4-hour, you're forced to look at the daily and do analysis in that aspect. There's no other way around that. It's not a bad thing because now you start to get more disciplined, more patient because now you're looking at the higher time frame.
So Raja, let's say we pick a session, right? Do we pick as many pairs as we want? Or do we focus on one pair?
In the beginning, I used to focus on all the USD pairs, some of the pound pairs, all the yen pairs during the Asian session. And I used to think that the more pairs I look at, the more opportunities there's going to be for me to make money. But I quickly realized that it gave me an opportunity to overtrade when I'm looking at all these pairs. So if I'm looking to sell at a resistance on, let's say, the 1-hour time frame, ideally now, if my pair is not at resistance, I shouldn't trade. But when you're looking at 8, 9 pairs, some of them is going to be at resistance, and then you're going to end up taking a sell. If you're trying to find someone really good to partner up with business, you're just not going to partner with everyone you feel like is good. You're going to really make sure that that one person is right for the business. What happens is that you haven't seen that pair long enough to kind of conceptualize how the moves are going to happen. right, welcome.
Dominion Markets. Look at this. In terms of time frame, you talk a lot about the 30-minute and 60-minute time frame. Why is that?
30-minute time frame at least is a very high confirmation time frame, 1 hour as well. But like in the beginning, everyone was looking at the 15-minute, the 1 hour, the 4 hour. So I realized was that why are people ignoring the 30-minute time frame? 30-minute time frame is higher than the 15-minute. It's stronger than 15-minute. You get good confirmations, and overall, in my opinion, it works better. So if you see this now, this is the 15-minute time frame, right? You can see how this candle is breaking the low of the previous candle, and you have clean range here to the left-hand side, which means that there's a probability that price can continue to push down over here. If I switch to a 30-minute time frame, on the 30-minute, there's no such confirmation that we're going to continue to push down, because you have one candle that moved up, then this one is moving like this, so it's very, very haphazard, right? So if I'm looking at the 30-minute over here, I have to wait for the 30-minute candle to close. Now remember when I said that on the 15-minute, they are weak confirmations, but when there's a lot of volume, then you have no other choice but to look at the 15-minute market structure. 32.59 till 32.66. That is a 72 pip range. Now you're getting market structure. You got a rejection right over here to the left hand side. This candle rejected, broke the highs, breaking the low. So now you get to ask yourself a question: what's the probability that the next 15-minute candle will continue to push down? If you're looking for a trade, you need the 15-minute, 30-minute, and the 1 hour to align with your bias. 15-minute is aligning with the bias of sellers. 30-minute, there's no confirmation for a sell. 1 hour time frame is bullish. We came up, we're just ranging to potentially go up.
Okay, so I found my session. I found the pair I want to trade. I did my analysis. I'm ready to enter the trade. I set my take profit and stop loss. But as soon as I enter the trade, the market goes against me. Do I cut my losses early before it hits my stop loss, or do I let it play out?
Cut your losses short. Cut maybe like 50% of it, 40% of it. The good thing about human intuition is so strong that a lot of times when a trade is going towards your stop loss, you can sort of feel it's gonna hit it. You can feel it's gonna hit the stop loss. And when you have that feeling, okay, it's gonna hit the stop loss, it's rather you close 50% than to let it hit the stop loss. Because if it hits the stop loss, you're gonna lose 100% of what you plan on losing. But if you close 50%, then you're losing maybe 80% of what you plan on losing. Because if you can keep your loss smaller, your wins are gonna stay the same, they're not gonna increase, they'll stay the same. But compared to the losses, now your wins are gonna start to look bigger.
And is there ever a time where you don't cut your losses off early?
Most times you get an opportunity to manage risk, to close, let's say like 50% on a loss or whatever, but sometimes you don't get the probability to manage risk or like the luxury to manage risk. And the reason why I say luxury is that because if the market is giving you an opportunity to close 50%, that's a luxury the market is giving you. You gotta avail that luxury. But if you don't, and it hits your full stop loss, then so be it.
How do you look at the risk-reward ratio when you enter trades?
Risk reward is subjective, right? In the beginning, guys would say I do like 1 to 5, 1 to 4. How many times are you gonna get 1 to 4 or 1 to 5? Those are like unicorn trades. So if I'm in a trade, and let's say if I'm able to secure 1 to 1, I'm gonna go with 1 to 1. If it goes to 1 to 2, I'm gonna be okay with that, because every time you move your stop, you're basically changing your risk reward. So if you start with, sometimes my trades start in negative risk reward. But if I move my stop loss, now that's all subjective and it becomes positive. For me, risk reward doesn't matter. What matters is, can I close a profitable trade in a timely manner? Let's say if you're looking for a sell and you see a candle that's going bullish and you enter a sell anticipating it's gonna go down. Why? You have to wait for a candle to close bearish, then take a sell. Even sometimes you're going to miss a trade, that's fine. That's like the same thing as saying that you're standing at the bus station and you have to go left, but all the buses are going right? You're not gonna sit on the bus that goes right, hoping it's gonna turn left. You're just gonna patiently wait for the bus that goes left. You're gonna wait, it comes on, you hop on the bus, and then you go left.
All right, Raja. Well, it's been an amazing conversation with you today. I really appreciate you coming on this episode. And
Thank you,
yeah.
man. Thank you, appreciate it.